welcome to the EFM Today Podcast. My name is Zach Roberts, and today we have with us again in the studio Brother Stephen Hight, President of Evangelistic Faith Missions. Last week, we heard a little bit about his trip back in December to the country of Egypt, some of the churches he visited, some of the food. Today, we're going to talk about Prayer Mountain. Prayer Mountain, Brother Hight, is a pretty unique ministry, from what I understand, there in Egypt. Explain a little bit about it.
Well, several years ago, Brother Said Ibrahim, who is the national leader there, got a vision for a place where Christians from any denomination could come and just have a prayer retreat. He wanted to plant a place where individuals could come and be there for a few days to pray, or where large groups could come in and also have an organized time of prayer. So he began to put this together, and they have built a large church. So there's a place for rather large groups to meet. There also are small places on the campus where just one or two people can get together for times of prayer and so on. There also are cabins for people to stay in, which was pretty nice. My wife and I stayed in a cabin with 3 single beds, and we were very comfortable there. Brother Saeed also has planned this so that not only is this a place for people to come and pray, but they have a lot of fruit trees and olive trees and onions and other kinds of plants, so that they're producing crops so that they can sell these things to help support financially the Prayer Mountain ministry.
Also, before we end the podcast today, I mentioned in the last podcast, if you remember, that he also taught a class in the Bible Institute. How was that teaching in the Bible Institute in Egypt?
Well, it was a little bit unique for me because I have preached through interpretation before, and of course I did on that trip. Every time I preached, it was with someone interpreting into Arabic. I never taught that way. So here I was in front of a class of about 25 students, and I would say my words, and Brother Said would translate into Arabic. And he had asked me to lecture for approximately an hour, and the lecture actually turned out to be almost exactly that, with his interpretation. The students were very interested and paid good attention to the things that we were saying. When the class ended, we took a break and went out to drink hot tea. So, as I mentioned in the last podcast, everywhere you go, you have tea. And when it was over, then we came back into the classroom for class discussion. And I told my wife later, I wish that I could understand Arabic, because these guys got into a discussion that was, if you won't misunderstand me, it was hot and heavy. I mean, they were voluble, they were loud, they were engaged, they were interested. And they were shaking their fingers at Brother Saeed, and he was shaking his finger back at them. And I just wish I could have understood them, because it would have really been fantastic to be able to participate in what they were doing.
Well, it sounds like teaching at the Bible Institute in Egypt was a real experience.
It was.
Could you give us just a quick 30-second synopsis about the work in Egypt?
Well, I think what I would say about the work in Egypt is that despite the fact that we are serving there in a predominantly Muslim country, we have pastors, and especially a leader in Brother Said Ibrahim, who are interested, they're almost driven to start new churches, to plant the Church of God in places where it does not yet exist. The churches are growing. It's common for us to have churches there with 150 or 60 or more people in it. One church that we went to, and we saw the new construction there, has an average of attendance of about 150, but when they have revival meetings and so on, it's nothing for them to have 400, 500 people come into the service. And in fact, the church that Brother Saeed pastors in Cairo has a capacity, I think, for about 800 people. There's in the city of Malawi, the pastor there is building a new church because his congregation has grown so much, and he's building a church that will have a capacity perhaps of 2,000 people. So it's a work that's vibrant, it's a work that's growing, it's a work that I believe God is definitely blessing.
It's our oldest work, but it's still going strong.
Right.
Well, tune back in next time, and we'll share some more from some other mission fields. Thanks for tuning in and listening to EFM Today.